The simpler you live, the happier you feel. Have you ever felt like, the older you get, the more tangled everything becomes? Your calendar's jam-packed. Your relationships feel complicated. Your home is full of stuff, but your mind feels empty. Now what if I told you? There's a way of living that feels lighter, freer, and honestly easier than you think. A way we all knew once when we were kids but somehow forgot as we grew up. Today I want to remind you, because sometimes less really is more. Chapter 1. We're living too complicated and we don't even realize it. Take one moment. Pause. Close your eyes. And ask yourself honestly, when was the last time you felt completely at peace? Not after a big achievement. Not after buying something new. But just calm. Clear. Not pulled in a dozen directions. Not buried under deadlines. Not juggling messages, emails, pings, and people asking why you didn't respond. Just a quiet, weightless moment. Can't remember? You're not alone. Most of us are caught in a storm we never volunteered for. The storm of too much. We live in a world that never stops. Faster mornings. Faster meals. Faster love. Even rest has become something to optimize. We wake up not with excitement but with checklists. Not with presence but pressure. We're constantly doing, but barely know why. Our phones are always nearby. Some people even bring them into the shower. Every buzz, every alert, every app chips away at our attention and drains us, without giving anything back. And the strangest thing? We live in an age of abundance, yet feel more empty than ever. We have unlimited ways to connect, but we're lonely. We're drowning in information but starved for clarity. We're offered countless choices, but can't decide what truly matters. There are nights where you scroll through videos, skim headlines, open a dozen browser tabs, only to end the night with a sigh. None of this makes me feel anything. Not because you're broken, but because your soul is overwhelmed. Modern life teaches us that happiness comes from more money, more stuff, more followers, more attention. And yet, the more we get, the more loss we feel. Because the truth is, happiness doesn't come from adding, comes from subtracting. It sounds strange, right? But think about it. When you clean out a cluttered room, you breathe easier. When you unplug from your phone for an evening, you sleep deeper. When you stop trying to please everyone, you feel lighter. None of that came from adding more. Came from letting go. We don't need everything to live well. We just need the right things. That's where simplicity speaks up. Simplicity isn't about having less. It's about choosing with intention. It's knowing what nourishes you and what drains you. It's saying no to the noise so you can say yes to peace. Simplicity is waking up without reaching for your phone. It's sipping your coffee slowly by the window without guilt. It's realizing you don't have to prove your worth through numbers, because peace of mind is proof enough. And in that simplicity, something beautiful returns. Happiness. Not loud. Not dramatic. Not some lightning bolt moment. But soft. Quiet. Like a breeze on a warm afternoon. Like the warm light in your kitchen when you come home. Like laughter over a simple dinner with people you love. That kind of happiness doesn't require much. It only asks one thing. That you begin to let go. Chapter 2. Simplicity isn't lack, it's a conscious choice. When people hear the word simple, they often think of lack. Of not having enough. But that's a huge misunderstanding. Simplicity isn't a downgrade. It's a powerful, intentional upgrade. Look around. Some people live in big homes, drive nice cars, have well-stuffed bank accounts, yet feel chronically unfulfilled. Missing time. Missing depth. Missing real connection. Others live in modest spaces where the same clothes stay offline, and yet they smile, sleep well, and feel whole. The question isn't who has more. The real question is, who feels enough? Simplicity isn't about what you own. It's about how you choose to live. Maybe you have 10 outfits you love wearing, and never stress about what to put on. Maybe you only keep a few close friends but every conversation goes deep. Maybe you're not trendy, but your heart is calm. Simplicity doesn't rob you of life's joys. It returns to you the things that got buried in the rush. Time, space, clarity. Think back to childhood. Joy was so simple then. A popsicle, a run in the yard, sitting beside someone who loved you. But we grew up and the world told us we needed more to be worthy. So we started chasing, buying, earning, collecting, running. And somewhere along the way we forgot what we were even running toward. Then one day you pause and realize you've been trading away your peace for things you don't even need. And so begins the journey back. Back to what matters. Back to what feels true. Back to yourself. There's a saying, the richest person isn't the one who has the most, but the one who needs the least. And when you start living that way, magic happens. You no longer need to prove anything. You no longer cling to everything. You slow down and begin to feel again. Simplicity clears out the mental attic. It removes the pressure to be everything for everyone. And suddenly there's space for the people you love, for the dreams you left behind, for the silence you secretly crave. You may choose less, but you'll live deeper. You may talk less, but every word will carry meaning. You may move slower, but every step will be real. And in that, you'll rediscover something we've all been missing. Freedom. Freedom from the performance. Freedom from the chase. Freedom to feel, to rest, to just be. Chapter 3. Want real happiness? Learn to say no. We've all done it. Said yes to something when we really wanted to say no. Agreed to plans even when we were exhausted. Took on one more project even though we had nothing left to give. Smiled through someone's passive-aggressive comments because we didn't want to make a scene. Little by little, we become people who make everyone else comfortable, at the cost of our own peace. And one day we look in the mirror and realize, we've become strangers to ourselves. No one teaches us this growing up, but they should. Saying no is a life skill, a survival tool, a gift. Since childhood we've been taught to be polite, to obey, to not upset others. But almost no one tells us, not every opportunity is worth your time. Not every relationship is meant to last. Not every request deserves a yes. We're afraid to say no. Afraid of disappointing people. Afraid of being misunderstood. Afraid they'll leave or judge us. But in trying to please everyone else, we slowly abandon ourselves. Have you ever done work you didn't believe in just to avoid conflict? Showed up at an event you didn't want to attend, just because saying no felt rude? Faked a smile through burnout, just so no one would see you struggling? That's not kindness. That's quiet self-destruction. Here's the truth. Saying no doesn't make you selfish. It makes you honest. Setting boundaries doesn't make you rude. It makes you strong. And when you draw the line, something powerful happens. The people who genuinely respect you stay. The ones who don't, they were never for you. There's a term for what many of us feel. Decision fatigue. It's the mental burnout of constantly saying yes, constantly juggling, constantly navigating things we didn't even ask for. It drains your energy and fills your life with noise. And most importantly, it leaves no room for you to hear your own voice. Because every time you say yes to something that doesn't matter, you say no to what does. No to rest. No to what recharges you. No to dreams that need your time and focus. Repeat that long enough and suddenly you're living a life that was never truly yours. Saying no isn't about rejecting everything. It's about choosing deliberately. It's knowing what lifts you and what depletes you, what brings joy and what causes anxiety. And from there making a decision for you. You don't have to be rude, but you do need to be clear. You don't need to apologize, but you do need to stand firm. Sometimes all it takes is one simple line. Thanks for thinking of me, but I'll pass this time. Remember, you don't owe anyone a reason for protecting your peace. Living simply doesn't mean doing less. It means doing what actually matters. And sometimes the most loving thing you can do for yourself is cut out the extra. Less pressure, less performing, less pretending, and you'll be amazed. The less you chase, the more grounded you feel. You have the right to say no to a job that drains you, to a person who disrespects you, to a lifestyle that no longer feels like home. And most of all, you have the right to say yes to yourself. Start small. Turn off work notifications after hours. Take one Sunday just for you. Say no gently, clearly when someone crosses your boundaries. You'll notice something incredible. Piece by piece, your life becomes your own again. Because happiness doesn't come from doing everything. It comes from doing the right things with intention. Chapter 4. Strip it all down and finally see yourself. Ever feel like you're here, but not really living? Like your days are packed, your schedule is full, but your soul is nowhere in sight? You wake up, Do what's expected, perform your role, but deep down there's a quiet ache. This isn't me. It's not your fault. Modern life trains us to look outward, not inward. To compare. To compete. To prove. To be seen. But somewhere along the way we lose the thread. We stop hearing our inner voice beneath all the noise. We stop feeling fully alive. But here's the beautiful part: when you start simplifying your life, you come back to yourself. As you let go of what no longer fits, something emerges. Not the version of you the world wants. Not the filtered, curated, performative version. But the real you. Raw. Honest. Calm. And finally free. Simplicity lets you live with less, but experience more. Instead of doing everything, you do the few things that move you. Instead of owning everything, you cherish what you already have. Instead of keeping up with the crowd, you walk to your own rhythm. And in that quiet, you begin to feel alive again. You start to enjoy slow mornings. You feel peace in walking away from a draining relationship. You're present in your conversations, not distracted, not rushed. You stop chasing the shoulds and lean into what actually feels right. At the core, we all want the same thing: to feel like ourselves and be at peace with that. But modern life pushes us to wear masks. Pretend we're okay. Pretend we're strong. Pretend we're happy. Pretend we have it all together. The longer we wear those masks, the harder it is to recognize who we really are. That's why simplicity is healing. It's not a lifestyle trend, it's a homecoming. You return to what's real, to what your heart needs, to the quiet joy that doesn't need to be posted or praised, just lived. Simplicity doesn't shrink you, clarifies you. It shows you what matters, what you love, what you're ready to release. From there you rebuild. Not out of pressure, not for performance, but from truth. You choose time with people who nourish you. You do work that aligns with your values. You care for your body not for perfection, but because you deserve to feel good. And day by day, you reconnect with a feeling the world tries to distract you from: being yourself without apology. When you simplify, you don't need more to feel whole. You don't need to prove your value. You don't need to keep up. You begin to find joy in the little things: a quiet walk, a slow meal, a phone-free afternoon, a deep night's sleep. And you realize happiness was never gone. It was just buried under too much. Like a lake that becomes clear when the wind settles. Like a heart that finally hears its own beat. Like a life that finally belongs to you again. Simplicity isn't hiding. It's courage. Courage to be real when others are chasing illusions. Courage to choose less when the world screams for more. Courage to step out of the race and walk your own way, even if you're walking alone. Because that's where the real peace lies. So if you're tired, lost, stretched too thin, don't add more. Try less. Let go of one task, one toxic expectation, one need to prove. And then breathe. And ask yourself quietly, who am I when I stop pretending? The answer is always there. It's just been waiting for you to get quiet enough to hear it.